lives based on the story we believe about ourselves. It might not be real, but if you believe it, it's real to you. So you live your life based on whatever story it is that you believe about yourself. Okay, so I asked Dawn this question last night. You didn't get it. I'm going to ask y'all. What do you think, if you're thinking about, like, people asking questions all the time, what is the most common question people ask? What is the thing that we all want to know all the time? Don't answer me, just think about it. Why? Isn't why the biggest question we ask? Like, why? Why? And it starts from the time they can talk, right? Why is the sky blue? Why does, why does the puppy get to go potty in the yard? Why do you have to go to work, Mom? Why are you mad? Why are you sad? Why are you crying? Why is the floor hard? Why is the wall hard? Don't they ask lots and lots of dumb questions? Okay, I'm sorry, not dumb, inquisitive. They're just curious, right? And then whenever they get to be teenagers, what kind of why questions do they ask? I don't know where the babies come from. They ask, why can't I take the car? Why can't I go out with that guy? How come I can't go to that party? Why do I have to come home at 11? All my friends get to stay out later. Why do I have to go to school? Why do I have to wear shoes? Why was I even born? Sometimes teenagers ask that question. Sometimes adults ask that question. And then once we get to be adults, what kind of why questions? We don't ask quite as many why questions because we finally come to the realization that no matter what happens, we're not going to know why. Sometimes you just can't know why. That's why Paul says in Philippians 4, verse 6 and 7, he says, don't worry about anything. Instead, pray about everything. God what you need and thank him for all he's done. Then you will experience God's peace, which exceeds anything we can understand. His peace will guard your hearts and minds as you live in Christ Jesus. Even when we can't understand, we can have peace. So what's your story? What do you believe about yourself? What I'm really asking is, why are you the way you are? What's your story? What's your story, Minnie? What's your story, Faith? What's your story, Mary? Why do you act and respond and talk and walk the way you do? What's your story? I messed all around in my notes and I skipped and I'm way ahead out of sync. So this is going to have a fun time keeping up with me. So as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. Let me get back on track. Okay, so Don, our country is in so much turmoil. It's like we are really going through an identity crisis, right? People are going through an identity crisis, right? They don't know who they are. They don't know what they are. They don't know where they're going. They don't know where they came from. They don't know. It's like they don't know who they are, right? That's why we have so much violence going on in the world today, is because people don't know who they are. They're confused. They're confused about who they are, and they don't, and it causes all this behavior, this bad behavior, because they don't know who they are. At their core, they don't know who they are. Before you can talk to people about how they act, you have to talk to them about who they are. Because if they don't understand who they are, they're not going to know how to act, right? In Ephesians, I'm going to read Ephesians a little bit later, but Paul is writing a letter to the Ephesians, to the church at Ephesus. And he is going to talk to them about some bad behaviors that they have going on, some stuff that they're doing that's not quite right. But before he gets to that, he's talking to them about who they are. Who you are, you're not going to act the way that you should act, right? When we're young, we're like taught how to act, we're taught how to behave, we're taught how to, like when you're in church, I remember one time this guy said, he said, we would go to somebody's house and I would line all the kids up beside the car before we went in, and I'd say, now, when are we going here? Y'all need to act like you have some sense. I know you ain't got none, but you need to act like it. And so we do behavior modification. We try to teach behavior, right? You go to school, the teachers try to teach you how to behave. And then as adults, you go, or even through your whole life, you go to church and you're taught how to act, how to behave, right? When we were, I was trying to remember how long ago this was. I think it was about 15, 16, 17 years ago, Don was an associate pastor / youth pastor / whatever else he used to do kind of guy at a church in Dallas. And our kids were probably, Micah was probably around, no, he's older. Was he older? I don't remember. 15 years ago, no, he's about 13. Okay, so I had a 13-year-old, I had a 15-year-old, a 13-year-old, and an 11-year-old, and a 7-year-old. And so anyway, the pastor, we sang out of hymnals. We did worship out of a book. And so the pastor called Don in his office one week and he said, I noticed that during worship, your kids don't stand up and sing out of the hymnal. And so then we feel this pressure to make our kids act a certain way. And so we tell them, you're standing up and you're going to act like you're singing. I don't care if you're doing it. You're going to stand up and you're going to move your mouth and you're going to pretend like you're singing so I don't get in trouble, right? And so the deal is, but you know what? God really convicted us. Like, you can make your kids act a certain way on the outside, but that doesn't mean it's going to mean anything to them. In fact, it might even turn them off to really wanting to worship the Lord. You can make them dress a certain way. You can make them be a certain way, but that doesn't change who they are on the inside. There was a story of a little boy, a very stubborn little boy at Sunday school, and the teacher said, you need to sit down, Johnny. And he's like, no, I'm not sitting down. I'm going to stand up. Sit down. She argued with him for several minutes. Finally, she said, you either sit down or I'm taking you to your parents. He sat down and he crossed his arms and he said, fine, I'm sitting down on the outside, but I'm standing up on the inside. And so isn't that how we are? It's like on the outside, we can conform our behavior, but if what's going on inside of you is not changed, then it's not even real, right? And so, okay, I'm completely lost. Okay, here we are. So behavior is what we see on the outside. But what makes a person behave the way they do? What makes you act? What makes you talk? What makes you respond a certain way? Have you ever asked yourself that question? Like, why did I do that? Some guy cuts you off and you start screaming and yelling at him and it makes you so angry you want to chase him down and you want to give him the look. You want to get up beside him and you want to give him the look. I saw a meme on Facebook the other day with Kermit and it said, the look I give someone when I finally catch up to them after they've cut me off, and it's like, I'm driving by and I'm just looking over at you. I think you do less. I always tell them, they're oblivious to you. They're not out to get you. They're not on purpose doing that. They're just oblivious. And I mean, sometimes, yeah, people are just ugly when they drive, but you know, for the most part, people are in their own little world. I'm sure lots of people have gotten mad at me because I drive that way. I drive in my own little world and I don't pay much attention to what's going on around me. It's like I do what I need to do and I don't care. It's like, whatever. I'm going to read my day. Go ahead. But anyway, but I ask myself that sometimes, how I respond in different situations. Sometimes someone will come to talk to me about something and I respond super defensively. And then I'll get all upset and I'll start crying and I'm like, why do I act like that? So whatever's coming out, the Bible says that out of the mouth, the abundance, out of the heart comes out your mouth. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. There we go. And so whatever's in your heart, you know, you've heard the old analogy about toothpaste. Like, okay, what's inside of a tube of toothpaste? Toothpaste. So when you squeeze it, what's going to come out? Toothpaste. And so when you're squeezed, what comes out of you? Sometimes it's kind of scary. Sometimes it's kind of scary, right? When you're squeezed, when something big happens in your life, and you're going along and you're thinking, I'm doing so good, and I go to church, and I'm praising the Lord all the time, and I'm teaching Sunday school, and I've got it going on. And then something happens, and you get squeezed, and the stuff comes out, and you're like, what in the world? Right? Sometimes it catches us by surprise. I think God lets things like that go on because he's saying, oh yeah, you want to think you got it all together? Let's think again. Because he really wants to mature us. What does the Bible say? That all these testings are there to develop character inside of us, to get those things out. So that is what I was saying. Okay. Kyle Idleman wrote a book called Not a Fan, and he's written other books too, I think, and he's a speaker, but I heard him talking. recently, and he said that behavior flows from identity. Behavior flows from identity. And identity is the lens through which we see everything. So behavior flows